mark on the face, and I upset Sonny Liston, and I just turned 22 years old. I must be the greatest. I told the world, I talk to God every day. If God's with me, ain't no matter, you're just the same. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world.
I said, can I be a legend? Search your soul and answer me this question. Do you think I have what it takes to be great, but still be humble and learn from my mistakes? Shit.
Accustomed to Adam Lewis by now on Thursday nights and some Mondays, so he really needs no introduction. But the guy who needs the introduction here tonight, the G to the U to the R to the U.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The host of none other than Monday Morning Football. I mean, Guru. Welcome to the show, my man.
Yo, stop it, man. Stop it. That joke was dope. That's the best introduction I got since I came out the womb, dog. I appreciate that, bro. Damn, I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Always. Well, skip over Adam, but you know his family on this show. Adam Lewis, what off-season pod? What is going on, pod?
Man, you already know. Ready to bring the heat tonight. I told you I didn't know what I signed up for because you invited me. You're like, oh, yeah, Guru's going to be there. And I was like, who? One of those shows. So I'm ready for it, man. Let's do it. I love being here on Mondays with you. I love the Thursday. So let's chop these topics up.
I'm not sure you're ready for this, but I'm going to start anyway. We are doing the draft breakdown for the NFC contenders. So if you're looking for Chicago, if you're looking for Atlanta, if you're looking for the Lions, sorry, this is not your show tonight. We are only dealing with who we expect to contend for a Super Bowl coming out of the NFC. So, guys, who else to start with than none other than the Super Bowl champs? And considering that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have returned every single member of their starting 22 of a Super Bowl winning team, do they really have any needs? I'm going to start with you, Guru, as the new guest. What did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers really need to improve on a Super Bowl champion?
Oh, man, absolutely. Obviously, this is one of the best rosters in all of football. I mean, the way from top to bottom, I mean, from the punter to the long snapper to the kicker to the quarterback to everyone, they're standing at least in worst case scenario, B+ minimum in the league. We could all agree on that. So as far as what you need, especially in the football, now you just got to create depth. You know what I'm saying? Now you're putting in a situation where you have the concept of the rich get richer because now you're creating debt because we know in football, now we have the addition of an extra game. There will be injuries. There will be situation that occurs. So you have to have depth. So right now, the Bucs are in a great situation where they could draft what every team want to be in, draft for depth and not really for need.
Yep. So Adam, then, if all agree that they're drafting for depth, is there any particular one player or one position that you're looking at for these Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, man, absolutely. As odd as it sounds, I got to say that they have to look at some key defensive pieces because when you look at that defense, they're pretty young. And Guru said it perfectly. They're in a perfect position to where they don't have to think about the now. They can think potentially 2-3 years out, maybe bring guys in that don't have to be starters that don't have to be knock it out of the park guys. Because like we all just agreed, there are 22 starters that they have on the roster now, returning all 22. They're definitely going to contend for another Super Bowl. But let's talk about maybe going after another young outside linebacker because when you look at JPP and Shaq Barrett, you want to get some more depth and some more veterans into that position. And obviously you do have some guys in there that have been potentially, top tier sub-ins. But when we talk about actually having people back there that are going to be in and making plays for you on a consistent basis and overall like Guru, I mean, he mentioned it perfectly, getting some depth on that team and thinking about the future because this is already a top defense in the NFL. This is already a top offense in the NFL. So if they can just continue to set themselves up for the future, I mean, unfortunately, we might be talking about Tom Brady running the NFL at 43, 44 years old if he plays his cards right, restructuring all these contracts. And you think about it, they haven't necessarily addressed the outside linebacker position since Noah Spence in 2016. Now, of course, they've got great guys on the inside linebacker. We know about Levante David. We know about Devin White. But let's also think about, y'all remember how bad the pass defense actually was for Tampa Bay for realistically about 60, 70% of the season. That Brady effect hit them towards the last 4 or 5 games. They got the late bye week, which was extremely in their favor. And then obviously in the playoffs, they were, head to toe the best team out there. But you talk about maybe bringing in another stud that can be versatile for you, that can play the wide receiver one, if he absolutely had to, a guy that you really trust, or pull him back into the slot, because you do have Davis, you do have Bunting, you do have Dean, but they were still trying to find their chemistry through most of the season. And I don't know if they're going to immediately come out of the gates again and just be able to be that lockdown defense that we all saw that carried them to the title. And I'm not doubting these guys, but at the end of the day, they weren't the most consistent. And there were some times in the playoffs, Taylor Heineke really throwing it like that on the Bucs. Yeah, the Bucs won the football game, but that was their closest game. They ran through the Saints. We know what they did to the Packers, and they demolished the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So when you talk about potentially getting some guys back there that can fill those holes for you, that inconsistently pop up in the secondary, I think that's a couple positions you have to take a look at if we're talking about, like I said, Brady running the NFL at 43 to 45 years old.
So, Guru, I'll let you go. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely just want to compound on that. That was excellent. I definitely agree. Just a little side, I focus in the interior defensive side of things, because obviously with Sue being a little bit older, he's the eldest man in that defensive line, and he's only on a 1-year contract. So I think, and especially the type of defense they like to run, as far as that Tampa 2 concept. So a couple of guys I really enjoyed, to be real with you. I think if I was the Buccaneers, obviously, I would focus exactly on that interior lineman. And just real quick, on the side, quick note, you mentioned, because I got this with a couple of guys, and you mentioned a little bit about they struggle like halfway through the season, the pass defense. And I kept telling cats, and it always struck me because I kept putting down my bro. It's like there was one significant factor, and people have to realize. You all remember the beginning of the season, Tampa Bay defense was on point, correct? We could all say they start out on point. And once Vita Vea went down, people forget to realize how significant Vita Vea is on that. He is the defense. Like, once he went down, that dictates everything. Because right now, the pass defense got to go down because Devin White is not be able to maneuver around. So
exactly. And that's probably their best defensive player in Devin White, if we're being honest.
And then when Vita Vea came back at the end of the year, we saw what the defense did towards the end of the season. So I think that's the key thing. And a couple of guys I was looking at, especially for the Bucs. You mentioned it earlier before we started. Christian Barrymore, obviously he fit that. He's definitely a 3 technique guy. He fits the Bucs defense where he can get some pressure, and he had an outstanding senior season. But my guy I think would be good. Coming to West Coast. I know I'm a homer, but go to UW. They got my boy Levy Onowunke. I know I pronounced his name wrong, but my man Levy's a beast. I think it would be a late first-round draft pick because he's just here. So they just got that. They put like this. No one is ever going to go get on Levante David or Devin White when you have those 2 interior defensive tackle right there.
I agree with you, brother, most definitely. And you talk about the age of Vita Vea, and you look how they took a risk on Winfield Jr. last year. At one point in the season, I had Antoine Winfield Jr. as my defensive rookie of the year. The dude was making plays, popping fumbles out, really just being in there on those crucial 3rd and 4th downs for Tampa Bay. And if you see them take a risk on another, young player in this draft, they're just going to continue to build for the future. And Tampa's going to be a very scary team for years to come.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Damn, that was dope. Tampa, I'm sorry. It's like when you just see a hot girl. Antoine Winfield Jr. was my darling of the draft last year. Like, when I'm talking about
my favorite rookie to watch last year, man. Loved him.
Like, during the pre-draft process, like, y'all check my receipts. I was like, NFL GM, you guys are idiots to not pick this dude. He was a top 10 talent, and that was my love. No pause, no homo, but I love me Winfield Jr., bro.
Oh yeah, man, true gopher, no doubt about it.
Y'all are making this easy for me. But just to add my 2 cents in this, I did have Christian Barmore here. And by me having it here, I appeared on Warzone's mock draft 2.0. And yes, I thought the defensive backfield could do some work, but there were no first-round grades I had on what was remaining because we know the top 3 corners will be gone by that time. And I'm not sure there are any safeties that are carrying first-round grades in this draft. So, like what Guru said, yeah, I have Christian Barmore here at that spot, especially as Ndamukong Suh is getting up there in age. And I think he resigned at 1 year.
Yeah.
So Yeah, that you're going to
He'll probably go and play for one more team, have a decent little run, like just to be a key piece. I mean, think about him coming from the Lions, now with the Bucs, got a title under his belt. So we'll see what he what he wants to truly chase.
I think this is his last season. I don't think he's going to play anymore because there's not much more for him to play for. Like, he's got his title. He put Aaron Rodgers on his back, his favorite player.
Right.
And Guru's waiting for this, and this gives me the perfect segue into our next segment. Oh, boy, I don't think I want to talk about this, but let us go all the same. My Packers, and the news from the outside has always been the organization does not get Aaron Rodgers enough weapons. If you watch this podcast enough, you know my take on that, and that's not necessarily true. But, guys, it's not my time to talk about it. It is yours. Should the Packers be looking, and I'm talking primarily the first round, should they be looking at getting Aaron Rodgers another weapon this season, or should they be looking at defense? I'll start with you, Adam.
Yeah, man. I compliment Aaron Jones, but I believe with Williams leaving and then A.J. Dillon, just a lot of the talk that he had, we know the dude's physical. We know he can play ball. I think he's going to get his chance. But I really want to talk about, not even as much as a guy to replace Kevin King, but more of someone to complement Jair Alexander. And when you talk about a guy like that who can come out of college and immediately be a plug-and-play guy, you take a look at Greg Newsome out of Northwestern. He's a feisty, athletic corner, and he reminds you a lot of Jair, putting his body on the line, willing to make a play, understanding the game really well at a young age. And when you look at what the Packers need in that scheme, it feels like he almost fits them perfectly. And obviously, when you look at the cornerback position for the Packers, it was a big reason why you guys didn't go to the Super Bowl. Obviously, there were multiple reasons in that NFC title game, but everybody was glaring at Kevin King, and bringing him back, I know, really pissed off the fan base. So when you take a look at Greg Newsome, there you go. When you take a look at Greg Newsome, who, like I said, really feels like a prototype of Jair Alexander. You bring him in, he could be versatile, play in the slot, be on the outside for you as well. So I would definitely say that's one need. Don't want to take too much of it away. Guru, tell me who you think the Packers would need to man.
Please continue. I love that. Continue, man. I love it. Please,
please continue, because I'm afraid of what Guru is going to bring you. So go right ahead, Adam.
I got you, man. I got you. So there's another thing. I know you talked about the Packers not getting any help for Aaron Rodgers, and we know about Devontae Adams. Bob Tonyan just emerged this year, but it feels like we're still struggling with a healthy, dependable, consistent receiver, whether it might be Allen Lazard or if Devin Funchess is actually going to be out there playing, or if we're talking about EQ St. Brown. You never truly know. But here's the biggest thing about it. You look at all the receivers from Adams to MBS. You talk about Funchess, Lazard. We'll even go to Juwan Winfrey. All these guys are only signed through 2021. The only receiver on the Packers roster that signed through 2023 is Chris Blair, a 22-year-old. You guys probably don't even know who I'm talking about. I don't know who he is specifically, Justin. I'm sure maybe he's on the roster, practice squad, something. But they need to bring guys in that want to be there for the long haul. And there is a chance, yes, that they will re-sign some of these guys. But you look at the embarrassment of riches that's coming in this wide receiver class yet again. A lot of wide receivers coming into this class that can really be plug-and-play guys or be day one starters for a lot of NFL teams. You look at Rashad Bateman, Kadarius Toney, you got Terrace Marshall out of LSU. We all love LSU wide receivers. We know Jamar Chase is going to crush it this year. Justin Jefferson, probably the best rookie receiver last year, already top 10 in the NFL. I said what I said. The dude is like a Stephon Diggs 2.0. When you talk about bringing in a guy that can truly be healthy, dependable, and consistent, I don't feel like outside of Bob Tonyan, and if Lazard is healthy, yes, but it's more of a question, when do you see him fully on the field actually producing in that wide receiver 2 position? If we give that to Aaron Rodgers, maybe he changes his attitude, not more than likely no, but I think with the embarrassment of riches in this draft, when it comes to wide receiver, you got to at least take a look, because there's a lot of guys that are only through next season. And if we're talking about short-term need, it's not there. If we're talking about thinking for maybe just 2-3 years out, we need to start looking for Green Bay. No question.
You filled up on your water now, Guru, so the floor is yours.
Absolutely, man. Like the Packers got issues, man. Defensively, they got issues. I'm not really too worried about offensively, because scheme-wise, you know what I mean, they could manufacture a lot of things. So right. I don't think offensively, I think it's kind of skewed in my sense. You look at it on films, you look at it, like I said, I'm not a stats guy, but LaFleur is amazing as far as creating plays and creating situations. So I feel very confident, even if they don't get no marquee guy offensively, I feel very good. They're still going to win 12, 13 games. You know what I mean? I feel very good. It's going to come. You know, like I'm more focused on the defensive side. And I think the organization did that, especially when they finally realized Mike Patton is trash. Like, oh my freaking goodness. It took that asses so long to realize how trash Mike Patton is. But what I'm fearful about, I don't know about Joe Barry him's damn self, to be honest with you, man. I'm familiar with Joe Barry. He called defense for the Washington football team a couple of years ago, man, in like 2006. So I'm familiar with this guy. He was there in Detroit. So he would even admit when his first couple of stints being a D coordinator, put it like this. His first year, the Detroit Lions, when he was there, they were ranked 28th defensively. With the Washington football team, I mean, at that time, when he was there, we were ranked 32nd. I'm a defensive guy. So there's a little thing I have personally with Joe Barry I don't like personally because he ruined that year for me. Anyways, continue. So, but like I said, Joe Barry now, because read up on him. He was with the Rams the last couple of years. That's how he got familiar with your boy over there, LaFleur. So then he changed his style. So now you guys are moving to that 3-4. I mean, keeping the 3-4 defense. So with that said, I do like what you mentioned as far as your need. But I think Joe Barry, I think what y'all really need defensively, I think you guys need an alpha defensive coach. I think what's wrong with the Green Bay Packers, I call them the soft cheese, man, expired cheese. It's not about the players. I think it's about the motivator. You know what I mean? You need somebody that it sounds like their coaches, they're not getting to those type of players. You know what I'm saying? It might be those type of players not listening to those guys, but you can see it in crucial games. They get blown their ass out. That, to me, is the guys just basically not motivating their defensive players. And because they got to get some dogs. And as far as defense, I do like the corner position. I think that's a good spot right there. They got a nice little secondary with obviously with Savage. Obviously, Jair is one of the elite corners in this draft. And I love your pick with Newsome. Like, I really love it. Obviously, I got to say a but. You know, when you say I really love it, I got to do
always a backlash for Guru.
Yo, but the cool things though, it's like it was so cool because I was going back and forth with this pick. Honestly, like going back and forth, right? I was like Newsome, and who I think they should go ahead and pick is Asante Samuels Jr. You know what I'm saying? I think you talking about a flat out ball play. You put the film on this guy. You talking about a ball play. Forget all this nonsense. You just like put the channel on and just look, and you like, holy shit. This dude know how to play football. And that's the same way when I looked at Jair when he was coming out. They are basically identical twins. You know what I mean? When you said about Newsome, same thing as Newsome. But the reason why I graded Newsome a little bit below is Newsome got an injury history I don't really like. You know what I'm saying? You get injured in college, you're going to get injured in the league. You know what I mean? That's my philosophy. So with that said, I lean towards Asante Samuel. Plus, I was a big fan of his father, too. So this dude is just a ball player. And I think put him and Jair, woo-wee, that's a sign. And then with Savage and the other safety over there, Amos, I think that's a sign of some thing to come. And to me, I don't know if Joe Barry is the right captain to lead that ship, basically.
I love the two of y'all. Y'all can come back on the show anytime because I mirror y'all's sentiments. Joe Barry was not our first choice. Apparently, we really wanted in-house, in-state guy from Wisconsin, the Wisconsin head coach. We really tried, or the Wisconsin defensive coordinator.
Yes, my guy. Yes.
We tried our best, and it seemed like he was initially coming, and then he said no. I agree with you, Guru, because as much as I want to blame a lot on Kevin King for that meltdown in the NFC Championship game, that play right before the first half, that has to be on Mike Patton. Yep. You cannot watch Tom Brady take a timeout, go back to the huddle. You have to know that a shot is coming, and you sit down and prevent defense. Obviously, you play at least two safeties back instead of one high safety. I don't know who the hell does that in that situation. And you don't press up on Scotty Miller. You just don't do that. The dude is fast. He runs track for a living. So I love the two of your picks. Here's the thing. Guru's going to hate me for this one because he doesn't like injured players. I was hoping because of his two back surgeries that Caleb Farley actually falls in the draft to me. But again, you mentioned the injury history. So Greg Newsome is a perfect fit. I haven't seen much of Asante Samuel's son. I saw him obviously during the league, and not to age myself, but I saw when he came in the league. And so that's to show you I'm not exactly as young as I may look. But all the same, right? Yeah, I love the Greg Newsome pick, but in a lot of mock drafts, he doesn't fall that far.
Right.
So if I can't get him, there's an inside linebacker who does a lot that I absolutely love, Jamin Davis. I love him. And because Christian Kirksey did not pan out for us at all, hopefully he can play that Mike spot if he comes. And he reminds me a bit, and Guru, you may tell me if I'm wrong, but he reminds me of a lot of Devin White, his ability to go end to end. He is so athletic. He can get up after the passer. He can get out in coverage. He is such an athletic marvel, and I love him. But I prefer Greg Newsome, as y'all said, because Kevin King was just that bad in the NFC title game, as we saw. If we can move Kevin King to cornerback 3 or cornerback 4, play him the slot and that's hiding mainly, like, I'll be fine. But we need a starting corner alongside Jair Alexander, because Jair is going to be a beast in this league for years to come. I do agree, though, that we have to get younger at the get viable wide receivers later on in the draft. It's just that I think that we need to target an outside corner or an inside linebacker like the Devin White type in that first round. So, guys, I know that's a Packers podcast, but we won't stay in Green Bay for that much longer because they could do that all night. The Rams, I'm going to let you all two go back and forth at this. So going with you, Guru, because you are an NFC beast. You love the NFC West. This is your division. We know the Rams don't have a first-round pick till 2064. So will or should the Rams try to move into the first round? And if not, where are they targeting, or who are they targeting? Take it away, Guru.
Yo, it's kind of funny, right? Like, it's the NFC West is like it's funny. You got two organizations, the Rams and the Seahawks, who don't believe in first round picks, and you got the 49ers and the Cardinals, who can't wait to pick on first rounds. You know what I mean? Just totally different spectrum, a totally different with how they run the organization. But obviously, La Town. Obviously, it's all about the lights. It's all about the lights. It's all about sex appeal. It's all about what the guru like, man. You know what I'm saying? Assets, man. That's what the guru like. That's what the Rams want to do. They got a $1 billion stadium. They gotta have capacity. And people, if y'all don't know, y'all listen to this. Football is a business. It's not a sport. It's a business first. Just want to tell you, all right. Your favorite player, he cares about his paycheck. Just FYI, right? So it's all about a business. So about filling that seat, they made a major investment. So yes, they don't care about no little 20-year-old kid coming there. No. It's not about that. It's about winning championships now, because that's what LA is about. This is not no Green Bay where you could, prolong and be conservative. You know what I mean? You could just slow play, slow money. Now, it's about fast money. And the Rams, for real, they really don't got no weakness in a sense, because they got all their strength this season. They got their quarterback, obviously, and the Rams, they're like the 49ers. They're built by their coach. You know what I'm saying? Their identity is their coach. You know what I'm saying? Their coach is their star. That's the leading actor on that team. Just like the 49ers. It's the Sean McVay team. You know what I'm saying? It's not no Stafford. It's not no Jalen Ramsey. It's not no Aaron Donald. They go as Sean McVay go, because he is that. He do have that huge ego. You know what I'm saying? He's an egomaniac dude. And I don't blame him. And he's very successful at what he does. But at the end of the day, I think the Rams will focus on improving the offensive line. Obviously, Wedgeworth can't play forever, bro. He can't play forever. They got to get depth as far as that. And obviously, I also anticipate them building up the secondary. They lost Joe Johnson and Troy Hill, so they definitely got to get a couple of guys to slide in. Obviously, this draft got a few guys they could slide in that position. So they could definitely. There's a bunch of quality guys that could slide in. You got guys like Sean Wade from Ohio State. He could slide into that Troy Hill position. You got a bunch of free safeties. So I think the Rams are in a good position right now as far as where they're positioned.
I feel you, man, definitely, because they do have a lot of talent on that team. And bringing in Matthew Stafford, they finally filled that void in the NFC West, because Kyler Murray getting drafted, one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks out there right now. Obviously, you've got Russell Wilson. And then if obvious or not even obviously, we have a really good feeling that the 49ers are going to move off of Jimmy Garoppolo. So whether it's Trey Lance whether it's Justin Fields, whether it's Zach Wilson, whoever it may be, they're going to bring in a dual threat guy. So this division is turning into a lot of speed, a lot of new talent. And with speed and new talent comes with usually a lot of offense. And you mentioned Troy Hill and John Johnson getting out of there. That's really going to impact that number one defense that the Los Angeles Rams were really commandeering last year. I mean, Aaron Donald. We talk about all the guys on that defense, and they do live and die by Sean McVay. And a big reason, that's a huge reason why they're not going to go first round, because he's mortgaged everything. He sent it off. We saw the haul for Stafford. And as soon as Sean McVay came into the league, I mean, people were having talks about, like, this guy's going to be an all-time coach. He was getting comparisons to Gruden, and some were talking about, like, maybe Saban and Belichick and Peyton, and they were meshing him all into one. But now, as you've seen the seasons go on, they have lived and died by McVay. And look at the Goff incident, for example. He knew after the Super Bowl year, I gave this guy weapons. I gave him Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, who were probably the best wide receiver tandem over the last couple of NFL seasons, if not top 3, top 5, wherever you want to put them. When you give him that, when you give him an Aaron Donald who's given you 20 sacks, when you give him a number one defense and he still cannot produce with it, that's when you call your GM. That's when you call your owner and say, hey, I need to get a guy in here. I don't think that guy was Stafford, because we're talking about a lot of potential. We're talking about a lot of what is, because Stafford's an underachiever at the end of the day. He's a baller, but he's still an underachiever. None of the records, none of the numbers are there. We know the guy can play, though. He's got a lot of heart, maybe the most heart at the position right now. You mentioned Whitworth as well. Life really came at the Rams fast the year after the Super Bowl. Getting old. Whitworth was 37, 38. People were getting injured. Jared Goff was terrible from under center. And everybody realized, okay, out of the gun and maybe on a play action, we can get him out there. But from under center, don't expect anything from Jared Goff. That's why we had the Matthew Stafford trade come in. But overall, with the Rams, they do need to make some tweaks, like I said, at the cornerback position, because if they're going to want to keep that defense in check with a lot of speed, with a lot of new talent coming in there, I think the Rams need to take a look at those. And when we talk about offensive linemen, you look at potentially Liam Eisenberg. He would be a good addition, or Dylan Ray Dunes as well. You never know who they could bring in, because outside of Whitworth, where's the depth? Who was the heir apparent that's going to succeed him? We don't see that yet.
I do like those. I like Walker Little over there and from Stanford. I think he could be a sneaky guy. You know, I know I'm a West Coast guy, so yeah, I do a lot of West Coast scouting, dog.
I just feel like John Stockton and Jason Kidd here are just setting you all up with passes, because you're really doing my work here for me. Like, I'm no looking and just feeding you all here. I will say this. I agree with both of y'all again, and it felt like the Rams draft was actually before the draft when they got Stafford. I think that's what they were targeting. You're correct. Sean McVay just treats draft picks like, I don't know, like butter. Like, I don't really need it. Like, you can have it, but I just don't really need it in my fridge. Right. So, like, yeah, it feels like the Stafford move was like, this is our draft. We have to go and get this quarterback, and whatever else happens, we're going to rely on the depth and the experience of this team more so because it's a very, I don't want to say old team, but it's an experienced team, man.
It is.
I feel like their window is these 2 seasons. Like, if they don't get it done right now, that is it. That their window is going to be very, very short. It is like these 2 seasons, and ironically enough, that is the amount of years left on Stafford's contract. It is these 2 seasons or bust in LA, and right now it just seems that the NFC is so stacked. So let's just hope it pans out for these Rams, but I'm a Packers fan, so let's not really hope.
And I will give the Rams one props though, man. Like, I will give it to them. They do have a great scouting department. Like, I will give it to them. You look at the Rams drafting since McVay been there. Not even the first round, because who cares for that? Even the Cam Akers in the second round. I thought Cam Akers was in the first round grade. Even my man Terrell Lewis, they got him in the second round. But you can see how they definitely draft players. I love how they do it. They get late round guys, and they know how to develop their players. So I think you got to give them credit for that as well. So that made it easy for them to be confident and be like, who cares about first-round picks?
Right. The Rams and Sean McVay are uber confident, and they show that year in and year out. And the Rams are one of those teams where they really burst onto the scene in 2018, year of the NFC Championship against New Orleans. And it feels like they've had kind of an underlying Super Bowl window. They just can't necessarily get it together, which is why McVay, in the loss to the Jets, he was like, wow, my quarterback really can't muster this simple type of game. Seeing how it came so fast after the Super Bowl year, he got on the phone quick. He made a couple calls because he knew that he could not get to the spot that his owner and GM wanted him to be at, which was a Super Bowl win, We saw a terrible Super Bowl appearance. Now he wants a Super Bowl win. He's foaming at the mouth now. Sean McVay's a top coach in this league, and hey.
And I will say this. Remember, you're tired at this point, Adam. So many of them run the same offense now, which they've learned from Kyle Shanahan's dad, Mike Shanahan. So all of them run that same offense. And I mean him, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Arthur Smith, who's now the Falcons' new head coach. It is basically the West Coast zone running scheme that they run. No, not West Coast, sorry, but that zone running scheme offense that Mike Shanahan won those Super Bowls with in Denver. And I think what really hit home, not just the Jets loss, and I do agree with you, Adam, but it's that Green Bay Packers loss in the playoffs. And he's looking at the Packers offense. He's like, wait a minute. This is what my offense is really supposed to look like. That is what my trigger man is supposed to look like. And I mean, obviously, there are not a lot of Aaron Rodgers out there, but you've heard me say this over and over again. That offense is so easy for quarterbacks because they marry what the run and the pass do. Every single play looks like each other, and you can't tell if it's a run, if it's a design run, if it's a pass, if it's a play action pass, if it's a naked bootleg off of a similar run. They will give you the same look and produce 10 plays out of that one look. And for Jared Goff to not be able to be productive in that simple offense had to annoy Sean McVay, especially when he saw what the offense looks like, the same offense in Green Bay. But we're not going to get back to my Packers. Who we will get to is none other than Adam Lewis's Saints.
I don't even need a note for this one, baby.
I didn't think you would. So, yeah, it's time for me and Guru to gang up on you. We know who are the top 5 quarterbacks in this class. But, Adam, should the Saints look late in the first round at drafting either Kellen Mond or Kel Trask?
Absolutely, man. So totally love the question here. And it wouldn't hurt to look, okay, because there's a lot of talent in this draft. But we're coming down to the nitty-gritty as a fan base, what the Saints should truly want. No, not at all, because New Orleans doesn't need to have FOMO here. They don't need to worry about not getting a quarterback in the draft because it feels like there's this expungement and overload of guys coming into the draft out of college. And more than anything, when Jameis got the chance to sit behind Drew Brees and hopefully learn from his mistakes, he said something immediately that really caught my ear that you don't hear a lot of backups really come into the media and say this. And maybe not everybody gets to sit behind a Drew Brees or maybe a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady. But he said getting the opportunity to sit behind Drew, it's like going to Harvard for a quarterbacking degree. From the mechanics to the eye movement. I mean, we know who Drew Brees was. Maybe the cleanest thrower of the football we've ever seen. Definitely the most accurate. There's no question about that. And when you talk about Jameis actually getting that chance to experience that different culture, get that mentorship that the Saints had brought in, because being the Aints for so long, I mean, Sean Payton and Drew Brees literally saved that franchise and turned us around. NFC Championship the first year. Obviously, we get wiped, but Sean Payton coming up and getting Coach of the Year. We know about the Super Bowl. We know about the heartbreaks that the Saints have went through. We know how well they draft, and Jameis Winston getting a chance to just be around that for one season. Now he's coming into the next year, and hopefully he's grown on that. Hopefully he has learned from his mistakes, because when you get a guy like Drew Brees to sit behind and you get basically a class like New Orleans, who have been a well-run franchise for years now, compared to Tampa Bay, who was really rugged and you didn't feel like everybody was practicing and in shape. But as soon as you get a true leader in there, look what happens to them. They're Super Bowl champions. Once you get a true leader around Jameis, not saying he's going to take us to the Super Bowl or even take us to a NFC Championship game, but hopefully he's going to be a better quarterback because the Saints brought him in. Sean Payton saw something in him, and this is why I trust my coach. We took Taysom Hill from y'all off waivers. He was nothing for you guys when y'all got him out of the draft. He was on special teams. He worked his way up, and now this guy's a very vital part in the offense, and I'm not even going to write off Taysom Hill potentially getting some starts at quarterback. We saw what he was able to do. Yes, it was obviously pish-posh and a lot of smoke and mirrors, but he did what he was supposed to and went out and played decent football for the most part. And I'm not saying he's going to be our franchise quarterback. I'm not saying Jameis Winston is going to be a franchise quarterback, but look at Jared Cook that we just lost. Trey Hendrickson. We lost a lot of guys. Emmanuel Sanders. We lost a lot of dudes. Latavius Murray, I'm pretty sure. We have a lot of pieces outside of the quarterback position that we could go chase, because this draft is extremely rich in talent. I want a wide receiver. I want a tight end because we know the Saints are different when they have that tight end at their disposal. Losing Emmanuel Sanders, Michael Thomas is coming off of a really shaky year, and the guy's thin overall. So I hope he can stay healthy. I'm very confident he can. But in terms of a quarterback, we don't need FOMO happening here. The Saints need to stay as far away from a quarterback as possible. But if they want to peak, I don't mind because I trust my coach and my front office at the end of the day. Not everybody at once now.
I'm seeing Guru itching, so take it away.
Nah, man, I'm not itching, man. New Orleans, you're absolutely right. In fact, don't even be cute. Don't even look at that girl, bro. Just let her walk by. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Mind your own business, dog.
No need in FOMO.
Business, dog. Don't even mind your own business. You already got somebody out there. Trust me, they're all the same. They might say they ain't the same, but they're all the same in certain characteristics. You know what I mean? So the funny thing, I always have this little theory with like genius offensive coaches, like, you know, those genius, because we only call the offensive guys genius. You know what I'm saying? We're too dumb. We play defense, so we dumb. You know what I mean? We don't play genius. We ran people. We're not smart. But anyhow, those genius offensive coaches realize what they always get in their own way. You know what I'm saying? You can look historically. For you to be successful, and I know I'm taking a long time to get at this, you need to have a high-level defensive coordinator in your repertoire, dog, especially if you're a so-called genius offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? The last time your boy had last time y'all won the Super Bowl, I assume y'all had a great defensive coordinator. I've been saying this for like however long Dennis Allen has been there, bro. Right. It's like,
the Super Bowl defense, actually, we weren't elite. We had turnovers that year. We were a team that forced a lot of turnovers in 2009.
Who was the DC?
Rob or Rex Ryan. It was one of the Ryans. Can't remember. It was either Rob or Rex. Justin, I feel like you know who it was.
Rob Ryan.
Okay, there you go. Rob Ryan. So, yeah, it was Rob Ryan, Bountygate, all that BS. We know about that. But, yeah, he was the one that was behind the defense. And I think we were even like the 22nd or 23rd overall defense. We just forced a lot of turnovers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The defensive corner. Was it Ryan or Greg Williams?
It might have been Greg Williams. I actually think it was Greg Williams. Yes, because when Greg Williams was coaching for the Jets and OBJ got hit in the knee, and Greg Williams, I've never coached a dirty play in my life. I was like, Bountygate, like you were the one behind it, fool. What are you talking about? He's a dirty coach for sure. Hey,
first of all, see what I'm saying? When a defensive coordinator do something, we call him dirty. You know what I'm saying? When the offensive coordinator creates some dirty plays, we call him a genius. You know, I don't like the rhetoric we have out here with defense and offense. I don't like that rhetoric at all. You know,
speak your truth, Guru. Speak your truth.
So with that said, the Saints need defense. They need defense forever. And I think just like what Green Bay did, even though I didn't expect what they did, they got to get rid of Dennis Allen, man. It seems like every time he comes down to New Orleans, it ain't about the offense, bro, because y'all got a genius at the offensive coordinator. But it's that fool. It's like Dennis Allen always called the wrong freaking play call. I'm sitting here, dog. It's like and he don't know situational awareness. In this game, it's about situations, by awareness, bro. There's certain calls you don't make. That's the difference between elite coordinators and just average coordinators. It's just it's a feel, bro. It ain't about it's a feel. It's certain calls you make. And like Mike Payton make those dumbass calls, and Dennis Allen. I know we love Marshawn Lattimore, bro. I know you all think my man Rick Martinsdale is in the same category. So it's not only Dennis Allen. So I'm not just bashing on him. There's other guys like him. They get so uberly aggressive because they think their guy is that good.
That is very true. That is very true. I will side with you there. The latter, because I honestly feel like I'm getting tired of Sean Payton. I'm getting tired of boy genius in the playoffs. Let's get cute. Let's take Drew Brees off the field. Let's try to run this little swing pass here when it's 3rd and 15. Like, it's those little cute plays like that, because I'll be honest with you, I'm actually enjoying Dennis Allen now. This is the best defense New Orleans Saints has ever had. I will confidently say that. This is the best defense the Saints have ever had in franchise history. Look at where we were in yards per game, pass yards per game, rush yards per game. We were a consistent team once we got past like week 4 or 5. And the reason I feel like he's really key is he knows how to make adjustments. You look when we're down 20-3. against the Chargers and Justin Herbert, the rookie quarterback. We get it back up to 20-10, take that game to overtime and eventually win it. You look at the game against the Lions when we were able to adjust. So I hear what you're saying about Dennis Allen because he does have spurts where it's the cracks in the armor. But honestly, for me, it's Sean Payton because I feel like his boy genius moves have been like NFC Championship. Awful play calling, terrible play calling from Sean Payton. The wild card against the Vikings. I know that Vikings defense was coming, but that was awful play calling by Sean Payton. And then I don't know what happened against the Buccaneers. The entire Saints team fell apart there. So,
well, they kind of know what happened. Everyone knew Drew Brees can't get the ball down the field, so they just stopped on these.
Dog, you guys know defensively, you put film right now. Dennis Allen is third and long in the fourth quarter. You could tell when you're not creative. I know you get no man, Sean Payton. When you're not creative as a defensive coordinator, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the teams like the Detroit Lions. I'm not worried about dumb teams like that, bro. I'm talking about you're a Super Bowl contender. So I'm focusing on team in your level. And every time, bro, you cannot be that easy, that easy to read. You're not gonna put your man line up straight in the island 1-on-1 and don't even be cute about it. Don't masquerade it. You see it any quarterback in high school, in Pee Wee. You can see it's man-on-man coverage. I don't care who you are, Marshawn Lattimore. I don't care. In the fourth quarter, and Cass don't understand this about football. We play this game. I play this game, bro. Receivers switch in and out of the lineups throughout the game. They don't play 80 plays. The corners play every freaking snap. You are tired, bro. It's not the same. So you know what they do? How to trick this dude? They take the best receiver, rest him for a couple of plays. I watch it on film all the time. And then when they need crucial play, put him out on Lattimore.
Exactly.
And I'm like, of course. Dumbass Dennis Allen, man.
Right.
That shit.
And you look at the year when we got absolutely waxed by Minnesota in the wild card round. Why do you have P.J. Williams one-on-one zero coverage against Kyle Rudolph? Why did you have C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who is a stud as a safety, probably one of my favorite rookies in the league, let alone from New Orleans right now, against George Kittle in that shootout game with San Francisco that gave the number one seed up, which made us have to host Minnesota at home, but we were going to have to be on the road, for most of after that. So I'm right there with you. There has been times where he's tried to be cute and overall just too aggressive, and there's nothing wrong with being aggressive, but when it's burnt you consistently, I agree with you, Guru. You need to scale it back in, but I don't think it's time to get rid of him just yet.
Man, why do you think you are looking for a corner every single year? Because no one could play that position, bro. It's like it's so bad. He's lucky Lattimore is that superior of an athlete. He could handle that.
Lattimore saved our secondary when we drafted him.
And even Lattimore and what pissed me off, one thing I could tell you about defense before my last topic, because I'm done with him, bro. What pissed me about coaches and defensive coaches, like you could tell great coaches from average coaches, bro.
Right.
It's called the development of players. I'm sorry to tell you, Lattimore has not improved since that year too. He's been stagnant. You know what I'm saying? You got guys like Jair now jumped over him. You guys, all your guys that stay stagnant. You got to develop, bro. That's what you do as a coach. And you look at the New Orleans Saints, it's name guys. There's nobody you can see development players now, bro. I can't take that.
Well, I disagree in that aspect because how about when A.J. Klein emerged? How about Alex Anzalone? How about Demario Davis? Probably the best free agent signing outside of Drew Brees that we've had pick up. We've had the depth in our defensive line from Shai Tuttle to when we had Malcolm Brown to Trey Hendrickson getting a fat-ass deal with the Bengals. So I think we can develop defensive players, but the secondary, I will agree, because the Saints secondary has always been a downfall. Ever since the Tracy Porter and who was the other? Darren Sharper didn't play with Trace Porter in Super Bowl. There's some other guy, but really, ever since those lockdown secondary days where I really trusted my safeties and my corners, I agree with you. We haven't had that transcendent secondary player to be able to play, head-to-head with a wide receiver one consistently.
Oh, don't worry, because we're going to get at Guru right now. Because we're going from your Saints to his Seahawks. So don't think that we're letting Guru off the hook here. So, we all know because we talked about the discord between Aaron Rodgers and the front office. But guess who also has a bit of I don't want to say a little beef? Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll / John Snyder. So, Guru, do you draft to please your quarterback, or is there something else outside of offensive line that the Seahawks need in this particular 2021 draft?
First off, my man Justin, dog. You know, you my dog. I mess with you, Justin, and Adam. I admire you guys from far. You know what I'm saying? From what I see, you know what I mean? Correct me if I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? I see you got a little one. You got a little one?
No, I have the little one, yes.
Yeah, you have a little one, exactly. I'm not sure if you have a significant other, but at one point you probably had a significant other, right? And you heard this saying, right? A happy wife make a happy home, right? You heard that saying. Y'all, I'm saying every man probably have heard that saying, right? And this is what I keep telling people in life, but I've been saying it the whole time this situation was going. This was nothing but a domestic situation, bro. It's like I was arguing with my girl outside the dinner table, and everybody saw it. So they all start gossiping. Oh, she wants to leave. No, man, we just got a little argument. You know what I'm saying? It got over. She got mad and started screaming. So Russ got a little frustrated. I feel him. When you in a long-term relationship, you put in a decade or so, trust me, there's going to be time you're going to bicker. It's going to happen. So I love how my organization and my quarterback handled it. You notice the whole time, they let Russ express himself. The Seahawks didn't say nothing. When they try to throw the whole Bears, the Bears, no. It's called, don't worry, we played the Bears. You all know about Schneider. Yeah, we talking to you, Chicago, but we ain't giving you shit because you ain't got nothing to give us. You guys are the worst quarterback organization in the history of football. You can't even talk to us about quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? So as much as I'm saying, you do what the wife wants you to do. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to get that damn offensive lineman because that's what she wants. If the wife tells you she want that car, she want the red car, you don't bring the black car. You go get the damn red car. And that's how you keep her happy, bro.
So after all of that, Guru, which of these offensive linemen will
my
Seahawks get?
My boy. My man, shout out to my boy, man, Quentin Menards, man. Shout out to Quentin for showing me. That's my dog. I told you, Quentin, when the Seahawks draft you, dinner is on me, my dog. It's on me with your big, crazy ass. It's on me, dog. This is my dude right here, man, from Wisconsin, wherever he is. He's a serial killer. I'm talking about the offensive line. I mean, that's another guy I'm in love with, bro. Pause. This is my freaking dude, bro. He's the scariest, the baddest, freaking offensive guard you could think of. And you put him with Damian Lewis from last year, brah, come on, Aaron Donald, bring it, son, because this draft right here, this pick is Aaron Donald pick. It ain't for nobody else. It's for Aaron freaking Donald. We're tired of your big ass always fucking our party up, homie, when you're not invited.
It is true because it seems by now that the Rams simply own the Seahawks. I don't know what the recent tape is.
Aaron Donald owns us.
Yeah, it feels like 4 of the last 5 games they've won. But I'm going to take it away from Guru, so sorry, and throw it to you, Adam. What did Seahawks do here?
Yeah, man. Sorry about that. So the craziest thing about this is, well, first of all, I feel like Seattle is really turning into the lame duck in this division right now because everyone is improved. And then when you look at the fact that they only have 3 picks overall, 2nd, 4th, and 7th round, and even specifically look how far these picks are spread out. 56th, 129th, and then 250th. And you can credit Jamal Adams and Carlos Dunlap with taking up a lot of that and getting that collateral out there. But let's also not forget in 2018, 2019, when Guru, you know what I'm talking about, when y'all pulled a lot of strings, and that netted y'all 11 picks overall in that draft. So I'm not going to count anything out. I'm not going to say that the Seahawks are super limited. But as of today, the Seattle Seahawks only have 3 draft picks going in. And this is the one where I said this movie's going to be extremely flying under the radar. But by the time I feel like this actually comes to a head, this will make a lot of sense for you. Russell Wilson is not happy. I do not think Russell Wilson is happy, y'all. I think this coming year for the Seahawks, I think the Seahawks can be a actual bad team. They could potentially finish last in this division because I think Russell Wilson is finally fed up. The dude's been sacked almost 400 times in his career. He gets sacked an average of 44 times a year. He's tired of taking hits. He's tired of being a top tier, maybe best quarterback for the first 8-9 games of the year before he gets knocked off and his body is finally starting to feel the repercussions of not having an offensive line more than any. And when you see that the Seahawks really could be a bad team next year, because I think this whole Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson is a little deeper than we think, because Pete Carroll's getting older. The guy's knocking on 70. He's going to be leaving football before we know it. I'm not saying it's going to be within the next 2 or 3 seasons, but we will not see a whole lot of Pete Carroll, even effective Pete Carroll, if you ask me, from here on out. Look how long it took last year to finally get the defense to come around. And we don't know if we're going to see that same thing from Blitz Boy and Carlos Dunlap. Is the chemistry actually going to be there? Because when your safety is your leading sacker with 9.5, all credit to Jamal Adams. The dude's a baller. Love him. He could do more in coverage, absolutely. And we've seen the bloopers. We've also seen the highlights. But we know at the end of the day, Seattle loves to use him for a pass rush. I think if you don't address the quarterback situation potentially this year, call me crazy if you want, but Russell Wilson is not going to be in Seattle for much longer. When you have these guys that you're maybe looking like a Kellen Mond or a Kyle Trask, or you're maybe talking about a Sam or Davis. I think it's Davis Wills as well. You've got some of those guys out there where they're not going to be immediately jumping off the board at you, because Seattle doesn't pick until the second round, and then right after that, the fourth. And after that, they're waiting potentially for a whole nother day to pick. They're picking at the end of the 7th round. So you've got a lot of space here to where they need to make a very vital move, because I don't believe Russell Wilson is going to be effective this coming season. There's a reason he said what he said. And I agree with you as well, Guru. He got the chance to express himself. But what I also didn't understand is why Seattle never necessarily said that Russ was not on the block. Seattle never explicitly came out and said, no, this is our QB1. This is who it's going to be. Russ isn't going anywhere. Once Dak got signed, we obviously wrote off the Cowboys. Once the Bears botched it again with Andy Dalton, we kind of wrote them off as well. The offseason and free agency moved on, and now we're here. But also at the end of the day, you got to look at the cornerback position as well. And I know a lot of teams on here, we've talked about cornerbacks coming in, but the NFC West, again, they've been improving. And I feel like Seattle might be this lame duck team because they're bringing in speed. They're bringing in pass rushers. Now you're going to have J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones coming at you on that defensive line. You still got Aaron Donald coming. Bosa's going to come back healthy this year. Like, you've got a lot of guys that are going to be on your ass, and Seattle needs to address that offensive line as well. The cornerback position, there are holes in this team that need to be filled because they got exposed in the playoffs. They were the biggest pretenders of the playoffs right next to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were huge pretenders. They made my Monday morning after pill the next day after they got handed to it with a Jared Goff with a broken thumb who wasn't even supposed to play. That is Pete Carroll. That is Pete Carroll. You let a quarterback who you have a rookie quarterback essentially starting in the playoffs. He gets hurt. Then you bring Goff back in and you go out like that. Losing Shaq Griffin was probably the worst thing that could have happened to this team because he was without question their best. And hats off to them for getting a steal in the 2017 draft. And you wonder if they could go for another steal like that because we know Surtain's going to be off the board. We know, J.C. Horn's going to be off the board. But when we talk about maybe a Tyson Campbell out of Georgia, or we're looking at Ohio State, Shaun Wade, because we know Seattle gave up the second most passing yards a game last year, bottom 10 in passing touchdowns given up, and it's way too easy to be torched through the air. Kyler Murray is going to be a top-tier quarterback next year. He's going to come back better. And if Seattle doesn't improve on that, I think he will torch them. So Seattle does have a lot to look at. Call me crazy about the quarterback if you want. Russell Wilson is not happy there, and like Guru said, if you want to keep him happy, I don't think they're making the right moves right now to keep him satisfied, especially with the disagreement between Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. Look at San Francisco right now. The disagreement over the number 3 pick, that is very vital because you've got one wanting to go mobile quarterback, one wanting to go pocket passer. So you got to have that marriage there.
Before you jump in, Guru, let me just say on Thursdays, Adam accuses me of being the guy who craps on Seattle. But clearly, though, Adam is taking over that role. So, Guru, defend your team right here, right now. Say what you got to say.
I got to defend the Dan, bro. Guys, Dan, those were just bah, 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 bah. But I took it. I got the bulletproof jacket on. I took
Kevlar.
All that.
Kevlar, yeah.
And I just ate out like, man. So, first off, you all know, you and ATL, just want to tell people about the geographic region we have, right? Because I'm all the way in the Pacific. I'm literally like, I'm spitting zone from the facility, like literally, like I'm right here. You know what I mean? So when I get a lot of people who don't know, sometimes when you're in your house and your doors are closed, people don't see what's going on. They got to chitter. They're trying to chatter. You know, what's the issue with Russ and Pete? Because nobody ever told me the issue. What is their issue? What is Russ mad about?
Why did y'all get DK Metcalf? Why did DK Metcalf, as a rookie, lead the NFL in red zone targets? Because Russell Wilson was not happy with the pass. And where do you think Let Russ Cook came from? Let Russ Cook is because of the disagreement between Seattle and Russell Wilson, because y'all used to run the football a lot.
Now it's going
to used to run the football a ton. And now this year we've seen, when you try to get back to the simple running ways, whether you didn't have a healthy Chris Carson or whoever it might have been, but we know when Chris Carson is healthy. I mean, we heard about Colin Cowherd talking about it. He was high on Seattle. NFL.com, CBS was really high on Seattle. They had y'all as like the number one through like 7 or 8 weeks. I said, no, dude. I said, not at all. Because if you make Russell Wilson, if you make the Seahawks one-dimensional, they cannot win. That is what the Rams did. Took away their best play, and they choked ultimately in the playoffs.
Nah, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Obviously, I'm not worried about the Rams. The Rams are everybody got the kryptonite. All right, I don't want to talk about the Rams. All right, so I'll disclose the Rams, exclude them. All right, because I was hoping we played the damn Packers because they softer than cheese. We would have smoked the Packers, but it just so happened.
Guru, you have Russell Wilson has never won in Wisconsin. I'm just putting that out there. He has in his professional life, he's never won in Wisconsin. It
don't even matter about that. I just know what happened when you guys came here. That's what I only want to talk about that anyways. But to continue about this right now. So you telling me, because I'm so far-fetched, a team now that won 11, just tell me where they do this at. A team that won the division, probably the best division in weekend play, arguably, if not number one, number two. Won the division, and then the next year, with not even arguably, unanimously, the best quarterback in the division. Unanimously. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I'm just saying I think it's unanimous, but in my opinion, the best coach in the division, but you have to say whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And in my opinion, the best front office GM in this division. What all that is 10 years straight of dominance. We still got the same GM, the same head coach, the same quarterback, and we got in the same division, which equals it's the same movie, baby. I know you get tired of seeing this script. I know
Fast 5, Fast 6, Fast 7, Fast and Furious, all over again.
It's all over again. At the end of the day, one thing we could do guarantee every year, Russell Wilson and PK are going to win 9 games, waking up and showing up. They're going to win 10, 11 games if they just feel like playing football. That's guaranteed every season, dog.
I think the Seahawks are extremely facetious is because I was never extremely high on them as like one of those elite teams that I thought could have made a run, because I know Russell Wilson always falls off and the pass protection was not there for Russell Wilson. There was a point in the season when Russell Wilson was actually perceiving false pressure, stepping up in the pocket and rolling out when he didn't need to, getting himself in trouble, making bad throws. But if you're going to, in terms of hold it to last year, let's not act like a Super Bowl caliber in San Francisco is not completely diminished. Let's not act like Kyler Murray didn't go through some sort of shoulder injury, because Kyler Murray at one point in the NFL last year was a top 3, top 4 quarterback at worst at his prime last year before he actually started dealing with those injuries. Then you also go and take a look at Jared Goff as well. Jared Goff was not able to stay completely healthy. And you called me crazy for it, Guru. There was one point in the season when Kyler Murray was so physically diminished that Jared Goff, crazy as it seems, was actually playing better football than Kyler Murray at one point, because Kyler was actually not that healthy. The NFC West was extremely beat up last year, bro. And another thing, Seattle won, I want to say 7 or 8 games, so 50% of your schedule by an average of like 4 points or less. A lot of one-possession games. Russell Wilson can only be magical for so long. And I called it in like week 12, week 13. I said, look, Russell Wilson's only got a few more comebacks. And a matter of fact, it was after the Vikings game when y'all had that comeback win. And I said, Russell Wilson's only got a few more of these in him. Then the Bills come up, smack y'all out of the water, put 45 points up on y'all. And then in the playoffs, when it comes time and all those boo-boos that I was seeing through the regular season finally showed ahead, that's when y'all got showed up by Los Angeles, man. And I know we're not here to talk about LA, but you were referencing the division last year. The division in the NFC West was extremely crippled. You had no Joey Bosa. You had no healthy quarterback for the Rams. Kyler Murray was not 100% all year. And the division has gotten better, dude. The division has gotten, the Rams actually have a dynamic quarterback now with still Robert Woods and still with Kupp. And they've got Cam Akers. Maybe it is about the Rams. I think he's got I don't think he likes the Rams.
I remember I remember Kaepernick. Once did I say constant? I remember Kaepernick. I remember Kurt Warner. You can name all them quarterbacks. You could replace it with Jimmy G. You could do that. All the names you did. One thing that's always consistent, you could always say, oh, you have a bad O-line. We got no receivers. But every year, what happens with the Seahawks?
Yeah, they come out and play, but also what are they doing every year? It's falling off at the end of the year. We're talking about them making a move to be a perennial contender. I don't see it coming.
If you win your division consistently and you're in the playoff consistently, that makes you a what?
I mean, let's look at what the Saints were realistically.
No.
Making the playoffs, being a great regular season team. Perfect example. Being a great regular season team, just like Seattle was. Like you said, they're guaranteed to win 9 to 11 games just because they show up at the stadium. The Saints are the same way. That's the culture we have built. But when the playoffs comes around, what has New Orleans done for the last 3 years in a row? The last 4 years in a row?
But we could
fall on their face. Absolutely fall flat on their face because they don't fix the boo-boos in the middle of the season. And that's what I see a lot of with Seattle. And now that Russell Wilson is on record saying, I'm not happy. Then Seattle doesn't even want to necessarily secure his spot. That's a red flag for me, bro, especially with a guy like Russell Wilson, because I don't get the whole Packers and Aaron Rodgers thing. I know we got to move. I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to give Guru the last thing on this, and then we're going to move on. I can let y'all spend the whole night.
Yeah, man, yeah, cause he got me hyped up. I'm sweating underneath this. I don't even see it. I got the secret on, not even the old spot. The secret. Send that check, by the way. Putting you on that free plug, man. But check this out, man. With Russ, bro. Like you mentioned certain things, man. Like I understand about the bickering. Russ don't want to go nowhere. It's just BS, bro. You know what I'm saying? You talking about why did DK Metcalf came? Yes, because Russ needed a receiver. Guess what? We gave him a receiver. You're right. Why did we? Oh, I'm getting beat up all the time. Yes, you know what we did? Who did we pick up in the free agent this year, man? Gabe Johnson. We improving the offensive line, and we're gonna draft another offensive line. We already got him, and we re-signed Tyler Lockett, and we got Gerald Everett as far as from the Rams. So you're talking about what do you need? We're giving him everything you need, just like what the Bucks in Basketball Reference, the Bucks did for Giannis. So if you're saying, oh, what you guys gonna do, bro? You are getting everything. So it's like you can't tell me Russ don't got everything. You got one of the best receiving corps. Now you have a top 10 running back. You're gonna have a better offensive line. So it's like, now guess what? What we do here is now the ball is in your cut, Russ. Now let's see if you're about that life.
Right. And honestly, you really just shined a big light on the fact that if y'all are giving him everything and y'all are continuing to fall short, doesn't it come down to the coaching eventually? I mean, you have to start looking at the coach, because I'm telling you now, I started looking at Sean Payton after the NFC Championship year. Call me crazy. Drew Brees coming off an MVP season. I was looking at Sean Payton after that NFC Championship game. Because when you go 9 years without getting that far, and you fall short with all that talent, and then you fall short again this year with maybe the most talented team the Saints have ever had. Come on, man.
Guys, I hate to be Molly Cameron, but I have to get to next segment, guys. I have to get to next segment. So sorry. We will get another show just based on Seattle, just for you guys.
Against New Orleans.
But here we go to a team that does not have their quarterback situation fixed. And I mean the Washington football team, another of Guru's favorite sides. So I will start with him again. Do you think the Washington football team should try to move up in the draft to select one of these 5 highly graded quarterbacks?
See, one thing I do know as far as the way the organization is structured right now with Rivera and Mayhew and company, as far as our GM and our front office, those guys are very conservative guys as far as in charge right now. You know what I mean? As much as people like to talk, I like to follow the character and the trait of the individual making the decisions. Because once you have your character and your trait, you never go by. When you make big decisions, you really go through your same process. You have a history. You know what I'm saying? We're very them. We have a history. As far as where we're positioned, as far as 19, moving all the way up to realistically in the top 7 to get any of those quarterbacks. I mean, that's mortgaging so much of the house. And Ron Rivera and Mayer and those guys, they don't really work like that in our front office. It's not like just Dan Snyder handling things. That's why you see you getting the Fitzpatrick and so that. He's a very conservative guy, defensive team oriented. So in a sense like this, I believe if the quarterback do fall in a sense, we would take that chance. But as far as reaching out all the way in the top 10, I don't see that happening this year. with that organization. I think they're positioning themselves to get one of their mid-tier free agents. I think that's who. I think this team is built for a Super Bowl contender roster real soon. And I think they need I don't think they need a younger quarterback. I think one of the guys that's going to be in the market. I think some guy in Wisconsin might be free. You know what I'm saying, in a year or so. And I think
2022.
Yes, and the way the Washington team is going to be positioned, that by that time they're going to have one of the best defense in football, a young roster, a crap load of money. And it would just make sense because then A-Rod could put his two fingers right there in all the Wisconsin and those so-called people that own the franchise, since they don't have an owner, so all the people that own and pay taxes of Green Bay when he's in DC, and then I will become the biggest A-Rod fan. So everything will come full circle. Then I will finally be an Aaron Rodgers fan. And everything I said about him, I will exclude that. It never happened.
Take it all away.
Yeah, that never happened, apparently. All of Guru's every single Monday morning football takes. Adam, do you think that the Washington football team should indeed move up to take one of these 5 highly graded quarterbacks?
I don't think they have the capital at the moment, really, to make a move to trade up to get one of these highly graded quarterbacks because, bringing in Fitzpatrick, I feel like in a way the fan base, I know it might not be with you, Guru, but if we're talking about just your average, not diehard Washington fan, they're seeing some sort of maybe little prancing light there that might be some sort of glimmer of hope out of Ryan Fitzpatrick. As silly as that is, and I don't think that's what he is at all, but I have kind of heard that narrative building throughout some of the basic fan base. And you look at a guy like, again, we may be talking about a Sam Ehlinger or a Kellen Mond or a Kyle Trask falling late, or if these rumors keep circulating, if these mock drafts keep flipping and these narratives keep going around, who's to say they don't move up just a little bit to maybe take a Mac Jones? You really don't know at the end of the day what quarterback would land in Washington. But if we're talking about really supplementing this team, if it's not a quarterback, I think you got to look at another wide receiver to help out Scary Terry. He is an amazing wide receiver at this point. He's probably going to be top 8, top 7 coming into next year. Pro Football Focus graded him, I think, at a 76 his rookie year, and now he jumped up 10 points to almost an 87 in his second year in the NFL. So he's definitely transcending. We know he's got the speed. And you maybe even look at another tight end to bring in, because we know when teams have that tight end at their disposal. We've seen Jimmy Graham with New Orleans. We've seen George Kittle with the Niners. We've seen Travis Kelce with the Chiefs. But another thing is speaking of Pro Football Focus, they actually had Washington's pass catching core as the worst receiving grade last year because there's no help for anybody. You have Scary Terry, and then you're kind of wondering, okay, who is really going to be my number 2 guy that's going to be there for me? If you can bring in a wide receiver with the embarrassment of riches that they have, if they can get a tight end who can be supplemented, he doesn't even have to be a starter for you, but someone in there who can supplement that pass catching role that suffers with depth really in Washington, I think you got to take a look at those positions, man.
Absolutely. I definitely like the wide receiver. I love I put all my money in Rashad Bateman. I'm looking at this guy. I think it's a no-brainer. I make some calls to my my sources over there in the city. I'm like, bruh, you know what I'm saying? From what I'm hearing, they're very high on freaking Bateman.
Right.
So we hearing a bunch of stuff, but if no quarterback situation, put it like this: if you're a betting man, and the Guru's a betting man, more than likely I'm finna go to Gopher, man. I'm gonna get that Gopher, man. Just give you all the inside info, dog.
So speaking of, that's still in the lottery part of the draft. We'll stay within the NFC East and move to those Dallas Cowboys. And it feels like if there is a lock, it should be, obviously outside of Trevor Lawrence going number 1 overall, number 10, Patrick Surtain to the Cowboys. It feels like that's almost a lock for me.
Right.
Guru, do you think that this is a lock? Patrick Surtain II to the Dallas Cowboys at number 10.
Oh man, it's a no-brainer. It's like it should be a no-brainer, bro. Like even last year, I predicted it was Winfield's job. I'm not there. Winfield's senior could have. June, that was damn. Like it was there for the pickings, and they got cute with freaking CD Lamb. You know what I mean? And so I don't. You can never tell with the Cowboys, bro. It's such an easy no-brainer pick You know what I
Right.
mean?
And
It's
they
like
always complicate it.
exactly. It's like you don't be cute. You need a number one. You need a corner. You can match them up with what you already have with Dave. You have a nice little tandem. Hey man, you know what Jerry is, man. Jerry do what Jerry do, bro. But I think Surtain is by far the most pure corner right now in this draft. I love every aspect of it, technically sound. And I think we lost Justin.
No,
There,
I'm back.
there we go. He back just like the Cowboys. Nah, nah, he ain't.
I'm back again. So
Yeah.
yes, go. I'm not sure where you are. I'm not sure if Guru got through the answer or not.
Absolutely. Just like I just basically said, it's a no-brainer, man. Even a blind man could see Patrick Surtain should be a Cowboy. So please, man, don't be blind, Jerry.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you, Guru, and even complimenting further on how Jerry likes to be Jerry. And it's really toxic. He's so toxic for the fan base right now because there actually was a guy on my feed on IG today that said, I'm on the Kyle Pitts hype train. And I said, are you serious? Like, y'all took CD last year when you didn't need him. Now you want to take Kyle Pitts when your defense was the 5th worst in the NFL. And if it's not Patrick Surtain, it's got to be J.C. Horn. They need to get a corner in there because they don't have any at all. They have no defensive presence. Where the hell was DeMarcus Lawrence last year? I mean, this team has really started to be confusing. And like you said, it seems like a no-brainer every year for Dallas. But when it comes down to the coaching, which I was dumb for believing Mike McCarthy was actually going to feed Zeke, wasn't at all. And I understand about the offensive line, but even before that, Ezekiel Elliott was not popping caps off yards and everything through the NFL. When you talk about the front office, the toxicity of Jerry Jones, the dim-wittedness really of Mike McCarthy, and overall how they have not made a good draft pick here recently outside of Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, it makes you wonder, are these guys going to get a supplemented player that they truly need in a Surtain II, who is absolutely a baller? We saw who his daddy was in the NFL. I love watching Patrick Surtain, the OG out there in the NFL, man. I mean, he was one of the first corners I ever watched, and I think his son is going to transcend very well into the NFL. And then we look at J.C. Horn, a guy who can be wiry, who can go toe-to-toe with a lot of receivers. But at the end of the day, we have to see how he's truly going to fare against a lot of this speed in the NFL. So I do agree it's got to be Surtain as a no-brainer. Or if somehow he gets taken, you have.
Guys, I can't add anything else. As I said, starting the segment, as you heard, it is almost like, and I have learned over my time, I believe in taking best player available. And you have to marry need and best player available. And if that doesn't marry, I believe in trading out till you get that perfect marriage. And Patrick Surtain on my board, I'm not sure about your two, but on my board is easily the highest graded cornerback. Well, at least the one with the fewest holes, because Caleb Farley, as we know, has the back surgery. And I just have Surtain a bit above J.C. Horn. But at number 10, the position, the best player available, and the need just marry perfectly with Patrick Surtain. Do not overthink this, Jerry Jones. This is the pick. I don't know that you should go much further. So to wrap things up now, guys, the Arizona Cardinals, as you know, this is the NFC edition of the playoff contenders, what they need in this draft. I know the Cardinals did not make the playoffs last season, but I expect them to this coming season.
They damn well better, because I want to see Kyler Murray win an MVP so soon. I'm being greedy.
You are, because I'm not seeing that happening. I like Kyler Murray, but I'm.
He said, nah, bro, I'm not even going to entertain this.
I'm not going to. So let me look through my notes so quickly, guys. And here it is. We've seen what they've done in the offseason, and they have gone for, so it would seem, a lot of high-profile names, at least, right. Older names. So starting you, Adam, what do the Cardinals need to get out of this draft to ensure that they are in the playoffs?
I love it, man. Great way to close the show, because this is actually one of my hottest videos pop tube right now. Is did the Arizona Cardinals actually make the right decisions in free agency so far? Because When you bring in A.J. Green, I'm questioning his work ethic. I immediately am questioning his work ethic, and I know who he was in Cincinnati, but let's not act like A.J. Green was not a top-tier receiver as soon as he came into the NFL and was actually balling with Cincinnati there for a while. Then you see him walking after defensive backs that just intercepted passes from his quarterback. You catch him on the sidelines potentially saying, trade me, which the whole trade me thing, that's kind of what professional sports are turning into. Everybody's saying, give these guys what they want. Happy wife, happy life. Give these guys their money because you want to keep them around. But then you bring in J.J. Watt, a guy who was an absolute stud his first 5 years in the NFL, averaged 17, 18 sacks a year. Then you look at the last 5 years of his career, outside of 120 and a half, not even. No, outside of one, my numbers aren't on point here, but outside of one like 7 to 10 sack season, J.J. Watt has not been healthy, I know for a fact, at all. If he's either playing 16 or he's playing 8 or less, there's no in between with J.J. Watt. You're either getting 50 or you're getting 100% out of him. When you have a young guy like Kyler Murray, I understand he needs veteran leadership, but does he necessarily need veteran leadership out of a guy who is going to be falling off of the edge? I feel like J.J. Watt is falling out of his prime. Yes, he is next to Chandler Jones, but I'm not trusting J.J. this season to ultimately bounce back and even be a 12, 13 sack guy. I will go out there and say that because I haven't seen that J.J. Watt here lately. None of us have. Then you look at A.J. Green coming in, a guy that is really lacking some work ethic, in my opinion, who has also been in the league for a while. And I know that is more veteran leadership, but I feel like you need to supplement him with some fresh young talent in there. I know Cliff Kingsbury is a young coach, but this team has a formula to be extremely successful. I mean, at one point last year, I was talking about the Cardinals going to the NFC Championship because that's how good they looked. There was a narrative in the NFL going around that the Cardinals could be a top team in the league. Then the ugly demon reared its head. We saw Cliff Kingsbury being the young coach. We saw them start off 5-2 and I think skid to like 6-7. We saw what happened with the Cardinals, and they are a young team. I'm all for the veteran leadership, but when we haven't seen these guys perform like they should, are they really going to bring to the table for a quarterback in Kyler Murray, he's here to stay, obviously. He is a flasher in this league. He's going to be one of the top quarterbacks for the years to come. You look at the running back position as well. I like James Conner. I like the addition of him with, Kenyon Drake was leaving. And then they have Edmonds as well. But if you could potentially somehow have a Travis Etienne or a Najee Harris, maybe even a Javonte Williams land in your lap some way, somehow, because we know how running backs are undervalued in the draft. We're probably not going to see one taken, maybe with even in the top 15. We've seen all the boards that are out there because we know about the talent that's at the top. You can go fish in free agency, trades, whatever the case may be. If they can get a stud to be behind Kyler Murray, a true guy that could really catch passes for them out of the backfield, and I know Conner and Edmonds are capable of that, but I don't feel like they are a true RB1, RB2 combination because I'm not necessarily sure about their consistency overall in the game. If you can somehow have a beautiful running back out of this draft land into your lap, it's just going to make Kyler Murray that much better. And I think the Cardinals are going to be a team that contends for years to come. We know the defense is there, but it's going to be a question of, can Kingsbury also at the end of the day make the smart decisions with the front office to have that young talent, but still be able to supplement it with healthy and actively playing hard veteran leadership?
Guru, you'd be shaking your head because I know you love that NFC West.
It's because I said Cardinals NFC Championship.
So go ahead, Guru.
I heard the giggle.
What do the Cardinals need to get out of this draft, especially in that first round?
Bro, this is what I tell people, bro. It's not no disrespect, right? It's like everybody was born in a different situation. Some people you never choose. Some people were born in a war-torn country in Baghdad in a situation where you got to come up a little bit harder. Some people in Beverly Hills with pool and shit, My man Cliff Kingsbury is in the worst damn division to be a damn coach because he's in the shark-infested waters, bro.
Yeah,
I don't care what he does. The thing about football is not like any other sport I love about this sport, dog. It's coach-related. It's coach-related. No, if you hear the players, no. It's 100% coach-related. When we play this game, it's one thing you do. Is as a defensive player, we always say this. I'm not going against Odell Beckham. I'm not going against you. I'm going against the offensive coordinator. Because when the OC said do a slant, I don't give a damn what you do. Fool, you're going to do a slant. So it comes down to Cliff Kingsbury is in the pool with sharks, with Super Bowl, with what you call geniuses. I mean, and then you also put in Steve Kim. I'm talking about those guys are in the wrong place at the wrong time. They should be in the NFC North with Detroit, and the Packers and all that. That's all. That's all. They're in the wrong situation, like, because we would never tell. Because put like this: if Arizona was in another division, they would be a good team. They'll be a playoff contender. But in that division, because of the deficiency with the GM, the deficiency with the coach, compared to everybody else in their division, it's gonna be hard. They might get that hurt me because they might get a spark here 1 year when somebody get injured. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole 49ers. But years to come, nah, Cliff Kingsbury don't have that pedigree. Teams that have years to come, you look at the teams and correlate with their coaching. You have real coaching and real GM structured. Kingsbury right now, I keep telling cats, they don't know what the hell they're doing, bro. You ever seen an animal, bro, when you don't know what the hell you're doing? So right now, you just shooting. You just hoping something stick. That's what the Arizona Cardinals are right now, bro. They don't know what the hell they're doing, bro. They're just hoping and praying. Oh, my God, maybe because in their mind, we need veteran leadership to get us the extra 2 games to win. No, it's not
exactly.
It's not the veteran, homie. You just in a division where those guys are better than you.
Right. The veteran leadership in the NFC West and the veterans. I mean, just think about the pass rushers. You've got J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, Joey Bosa, Aaron Donald, the defensive line of the Rams. Like, we're just talking about the defensive line. We ain't even got the quarterbacks, wide receivers. Like we're talking about the Niners and the Rams, 2 of the best defenses in the NFL residing in one division. So I'm right there with you, man. It is going to be tough for Kingsbury. I believe in him, though. I really believe in him because bringing him in, and it's Kyler more than anything. I believe in Kyler more than anything, and I'm hoping that what is special in him can transcend to Cliff Kingsbury to then help him build the team as a whole. I feel like I'm one of the only people out there that thinks that, but I see something out there when he's playing to where I feel like he can take this team to the next level, but I know he's got to show people more. So
elementary, dog. That offense is so elementary, homie. It's so elementary.
I'm with Guru on this one. Sorry, Adam.
No, you're good, man.
You can't take a guy from Texas Tech that was losing in college. He was a subpar college coach and expect to drop him in the division of all of football in the professional leagues and think that that's going to translate and hope your players drag him through. No, I'm with Guru. This league is about coaching, and you're in the division with Sean McVay, with Pete Carroll, with Kyle Shanahan, and you're bringing Cliff Kingsbury. That is not going to work. Like, these 3 head coaches are, as Guru probably talked about, geniuses. These are good head coaches. This is one head coach who's won a Super Bowl and should have won 2. Then the other 2 have been to Super Bowls. You cannot bring a substandard college coach to come and compete with these guys and hope a young quarterback drags you through. It will not work. And an aging, injured J.J. Watt, that will not work. And an injured, aging Chandler Jones, this is not going to work. You're going to have to get better at your brain trust. I agree with Guru here. What I will say, with the departure of Patrick Peterson, I think their immediate need is at corner. Yep. So I think J.C. Horn is a perfect fit here. I like Caleb Farley just a bit better, but the injury concerns, we all know about those 2 back surgeries. So, and as a corner, you don't really want to be messing with a bad and bulky back. So I really do like J.C. Horn at this spot. I mean, you're not reaching, I think, 16 is 16, right? 16 is a perfect spot, mid-first round for somebody like J.C. Horn, who you can say is arguably the best cornerback in this draft, depending on where you have him or Patrick Surtain. But I'm with Guru, man, Adam. You cannot, in this division, when you look top to bottom, when you start with Pete Carroll, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Cliff Kingsbury is not your answer in this down division. It just can't be.
Yeah, y'all dookie on me, but it's okay because y'all really do have a point. Y'all really do have a point, and it's a curse being such a positive guy covering sports because when they started that season off that way, and I saw what they came out hot. They beat San Francisco off, started out 5-2, and I was like, okay, and then they slid down, took the skid, but I'll give them one more year. I'll give them one more year to prove me wrong. Or prove me right, I guess, and I'm gonna have to hop on the train with y'all because it's all there in front of me. I'm just being too nice to them. But I don't agree with the offseason moves at all. I wasn't a fan of J.J. Watt, and I was not a fan of A.J. Green.
And the more Guru says, it's correct. Like, it's like or I don't know what I'm doing. So just throw darts at everything and hope one lands. I don't know. Guru, you want one final say before we hop out of here?
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. This is freaking amazing, bro. I definitely like chatting it up with y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for having me, man. I know if I was disrespectful for y'all folks, man, I'm a disrespectful mother. You know what? So take it how you live it, man. But I love y'all. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate y'all.
Now, we appreciate having you. So before we go, please, Guru, tell us, what do you have coming up next? And how do my viewers and followers find the G to the U to the R to the U?
Hey, bro, this is my content, man. It's about, man, what's the legal age in demand? It's international. I'm foreign born, so it's about, what, 16? It's 16. If you're in America, it's 18 and up, baby. But if you're not in America, you could be 16 and watch this shit, dog. But I just do a raw and uncut, man. Well, I don't sugarcoat things. It's like my content is all about basically having fun, chilling with your boys. I call it the locker room talk, man. Chilling with the boys, man. I'm not here to do nothing. I'm just here talking with my boys, and everybody who's my listener, they're my homies, man. They're the boys. I'm all about love and energy, dog. Collaboration over competition. And you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on IG, Guru's Film Room. Basically, find me on IG. You can find me on YouTube. That's the only way. Any other ways, I stay low key, bro.
So that's it. Please go find Guru's Film Room and Monday Morning Football. Adam, what do you have coming up?
Man, so you already know we got the NFL draft coming up in a few weeks. We got a lot of speculation going around the NFL. People are talking about these teams opting out of the OTAs, talking about the mandatory COVID vaccine. Y'all can always catch me Wednesday talking about topics like that. Petty Sports, if you find me on Instagram, at What Offseason Sports Pod, click the link in my bio. It's every bit of work I do. Facebook, Instagram, all the platforms, doing work with Petty Sports as well. Like I said, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, going live from 8 to 10 on YouTube. We're always talking about the latest and the greatest in sports. But shout out to you two guys as well, man. Y'all be sure to check out This Just In Sports Show. Always going live here on Mondays. Check out Guru's Film Room, probably the craziest dude in the game. I told y'all when Justin sent me the invitation, and he told me afterwards that Guru was going to be on, I was like, this is a setup. I was like, he wants me to be on the hot seat. He wants my back to be sweating. He wants me to be uncomfortable. But hey, overall, guys, it was a pleasure. And Guru, I love what you said there, man. Collaboration over competition, because we're going to grow together. We grow as a whole, not as one. It was a blessing tonight, guys. Great show. Whenever you're doing the AFC contenders for the draft, or that might be next week, let me know. I'll see if I have some time. I'm always down to be on Mondays with you, man. It's trying to get back to my roots with my guys.
That will indeed be next week, Adam, giving us a preview. For certain, every Thursday, Adam and I are on Instagram Live at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we will be back here on Monday chopping up the AFC contenders. So the same bat time, same bat channel. So for Guru's Film Room and also What Offseason Pod, this is This Just In signing out. Thank you for spending your Monday night with us.
See you guys.
Out.
I don't have a mark on my face, and I upset Johnny Liston, and I just turned 22 years old. I must be the greatest. I told the world, I talk to God every day. If God's with me, ain't nobody here just the same. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world.
I said, can I be a legend? Search your soul and answer me this question. Do you think I have what it takes to be great, but still be humble and learn from my mistakes? Shit.